We have hot weather around the North Island, heavy rain in the south, and a cooler change coming for everyone across the country. Hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us. As we take a look at the animated wind map today, it's not surprising that it's still very warm around northern New Zealand. Humidity plus the warmth from Australia still passing through, and that will finally clear away overnight tonight. So when you wake up on Wednesday, or at least by the end of Wednesday, every part of the country will be cooler as that cold front moves through, and then the airflow comes out of the Southern Ocean right across the country. Low pressure nearby, the lower South Island still bringing in huge amounts of rain, and huge for the regions. You know, we're talking 400, 500 millimetres around Fiordland, and the spillover into Southland and Otago over 100 millimetres. Now that might not sound like a lot to some in the North Island, but that's over a month's worth of rain falling in areas like Otago. So flooding is going to be an issue around today as that front moves northwards. So we'll talk about the rain in a moment, but first of all, the temperatures yesterday. These are yesterday's temperatures. It's a little bit hard to see the scale. I'll bring that back in a split second. But the area that we're looking at is that little tiny pink dot you can see just inland from Gisborne. That is the area that got to 40 degrees Celsius on Monday, and as far as I know, Weather Watch has never had 40 degrees in our data sets from IBM for the North Island. So the close-up zoom in, you can see that little area there. So that was in one of those inland valleys. There were lots of 37s and 38s all around that eastern side, and you can see it goes off the scale, that little area in pink, because in New Zealand, in the North Island, we don't normally need it on our key. Now, the rain, significant rain. So it's not just heat. We've got big rain in the South Island. This is the last 2 days worth of rain. The area in dark blue, again, right at the bottom of the scale, we're talking up to 500 millimetres in 2 days over there. So not surprising they've had issues. But to me, it's more about the spillover into Southland and Otago. That's quite remarkable. You're up around that 125 millimetres to 200 millimetre mark, depending on if you're in the plains or up in the hills. But that's a lot of rain falling in this part of the country. Central Otago is our driest region, right next to our wettest region. So when it does spill over, it is quite a significant story. But as you can see, the North Island looking dry. So let's have a look at the rainfall that's coming up, because clearly, with all the rain that's been falling in the South Island, we don't want a lot more, but there is still more to come. This is the next 24 hours through till 7 a.m. Wednesday. Now, the good news is, in the very south there, it is starting to clear. Maybe only another 25, 30 millimetres. But in the inland areas, it is still quite heavy. So we might still have another 50, 60, maybe 70 millimetres coming for the hills around northern Southland and Otago, and further to the west, you're still up over the 125 millimetre mark. So a lot more rain to come. The bad news over in Canterbury, I know you need rain. It's looking wet in the south and central areas, but the further north you go, you're talking about 2 to 5 millimetres. So it won't be very much that comes in. Similar story in the North Island. Just a couple of drizzle patches in that big area in blue. So there we go. There's the reality. Let's move on through, have a look at the forecast now as we move through the week. So Wednesday ushers in this new change. So all the hot air from Australia is out over that side. Now we've got Southern Ocean airflows coming in. Now there'll be a couple of showers around, but the good news is it really does dry out on Wednesday around the South Island. There might just be a few remaining showers, but nothing serious. That means that people who are being evacuated, the chances of getting out look a lot better on Wednesday for you. Couple of isolated showers in the north, and this little wind here dropping the temperatures in Hawke's Bay and Gisborne by 10 plus degrees from your very, very hot Monday. And even today is looking pretty hot as well. By Thursday, a little bit colder as the winds tilt a little more southerly. High pressure stuck over here. And as a result of that, look at the rain clouds lining up for eastern Australia. Not just on Thursday, not just on Friday, but in the many days ahead. There is a lot of rain coming in for this eastern side. That is really good news. The other feature, with the winds blowing this way now, the opposite of what we've had for the last month or two, with an easterly flow, that means any smoke in Australia is going to be pushed across Australia. So our skies should become a lot clearer. May not be perfect, but our skies should be a lot clearer with this setup. Any smoke has to go a long way and around that ginormous high before it even comes into the New Zealand area. So this weekend, not overly flash to begin with. High pressure is parked south of Tasmania. It's a big high. The rain continues up around Australia, and we've still got the southerly quarter wind. It'll be southeast, southerly and southwest depending on you are. That dark blue line and the showers in there mean it'll feel like autumn. It really will this Saturday around some parts of the South Island. And then on Sunday, it looks very similar to Saturday, but it is actually starting to warm up. The high is rolling in and the winds, they're still southerly quarter in most places. A couple of showers here and there. The rain's still falling around Eastern Australia, but that high is moving in towards us. And next week looks fairly settled with that big high pressure system. But if you're in the North Island and you're wanting rain, the good news is there just might be some rain later this month. We're not ready to lock it in yet, but when you see that much rain falling around Eastern Australia, hopefully it's just a matter of time before it reaches us. That is all from me. There's a lot to cover. You can go to our news section for all that information and all the news stories we've been breaking over the last 24 hours. We'll see you again tomorrow with the latest before Waitangi.